Hi, it's Joy and staying right watching Titans Season 1 Episode 6, Jason Todd, which I guess he's going to be the other Robin, the new Robin, because we saw him, met him at the end of the last episode and it would make sense for him to be Jason Todd. I'll be quite surprised if some other random dude is called Jason Todd. So yeah, the end of the last episode, I mean, that was crazy. I really enjoyed episode 5, the way it felt like there was a lot of character development or character growth or just really seeing these main characters bonding, and I really enjoyed that. And this show could literally go anywhere now, so yeah, let's see where it goes. Let's go. Flashback time. I don't even want to think about it, it's just heartbreaking. I could have been happy if we got to stay with them.
It's not your concern, Dick.
Of course it's going to be his concern. I mean, you don't want it to be at this kind of age, but it's always going to concern him.
Someone will find who did it.
I mean, it could have killed him too. Even if it wasn't his parents.
What's best for you?
What's best for him is a loving home, not money.
You is what's best for me.
He can give you everything that I can.
But you can give him the love that a kid
I
needs.
don't want to. Please don't make me.
Living with Bruce Wayne. It's going to change your life forever.
I mean, yes, that is not false. And I think this guy truly is doing what he believes is right. You know, he cares about him and just wants to do what's best for Dick. But loving, stable family homes are just as valuable as money, people.
The difference between dead and knocked out.
You could have at least given him a different identity, taken on a different superhero identity.
You? Wow.
So as soon as he left, you replaced him.
Tracker. What tracker?
On your arm?
There's a fucking
Of course there is.
You forgot.
Yeah, that's something you really forget, isn't it? The kid, get out now. Did you still have access? No?
I got this.
This isn't awkward at all.
Damn Batmobile.
He didn't get to drive the
Does he
Batmobile.
drive the Batmobile?
Does he, or does it just brag?
This may give less offense. Benefits ought to be handed out drop by drop, so they may be relished the more.
Severe situation.
How old are you? This actor must have had a good time. Don't try and cut it out. Please don't try and cut it out right now. There's other places and other ways you could try and do it. I know the principle of it, you want it out straight away, but not now. You could get someone to help you do it. Don't stop mid getting out of your arm, okay?
Impeccable timing.
Where the hell are you?
Robin's got some skills.
Ugh.
Any update on the family?
They're dead.
Dead.
Corey.
I did.
She said he'd think it was her.
Are you okay?
Just gouging a tracker out of my arm that was part of me as a child.
Safe house. It has safe right in the name.
Em thinks you're still Robin.
It's scary that anyone knows he's Robin.
I know these people.
Or is it all the people he grew up with? Were they all dead?
Tony Zuko worked for the Maronis when he killed my parents.
So he knows who it was.
Why would I go to the fucking cops?
Because 5 people were murdered.
Cops are a joke, man. There's 2 kinds. Useless and dirty.
He's a
Is that
cop.
what Bruce said?
Everyone can come. Family road trip.
Your friends.
Not important.
Who's he?
Not important.
Wait, you're Robin too?
I thought you were Robin.
I am.
He was.
How many Robins are there? Are there a lot? Because I would love
Okay,
to.
quiet.
He's such a fanboy.
Oh, that's good. You said you didn't want to be Robin anymore, right?
That
Right.
doesn't mean it's not weird to instantly be replaced.
You do want to be Robin. In which case, you should be Robin. Even though the new one's probably younger and healthier and smarter.
I'm just trying to get used to the idea of being replaced.
Wow, an honest answer for once. Well done.
Please let me murdered before Dick gets there. Oh god. In England, if you're genuinely 19, there'd be no problem.
Haley's Circus.
I'm gonna recognise.
Mickey, oh, I can't believe it's you. Yes, me, I can't.
Hey, it goes both ways.
You were a kid,
Just
but
like you're okay.
yes.
All I know is I'm just so proud of you, kiddo.
You should have raised
You know, I
him.
used to wonder all the time.
Look how you turned out. Perfect.
He's so proud.
You look happy.
Eh, happy to see you.
Jason!
Oh dear. Careful, he's the target, and Dick's definitely gonna lose him after he literally just found him. Unless he's secretly the murderer, in which case, yes.
Clay, you okay?
No, he isn't. To you, Dick Grayson, you arrived right
Dear.
on schedule.
Oh dear. I'm loving the backstory we're getting, but it's very stressful. Vengeance and justice isn't doing anyone any good. Just understandable though it is. As there's this thing that happened that made him think he'd gone too far and didn't want to be with that man anymore.
I'll give you whatever you want.
I want my parents back!
Grace.
Oh god.
Give me one reason not to.
So this is why taking a kid's rage and fueling it is not healthy or a good idea. Because wanting to kill this guy, 100% relate to. I can get that. You should rise above it, or be, I guess, if you have to do it, you can do it more cleanly. So you let him die. I mean, you can completely understand why he'd have done that and not helped him. In some ways it's better than having killed him himself, in some ways it's worse. But you can also see how that would weigh on you so much.
Man, that must have felt awesome.
You don't understand
Yeah, that's
anything.
the problem.
I'm glad they're using the correct punctuation with the question marks. Oh no.
That's close enough, Rob.
I mean, technically the Maroonies killed your family. He just enabled the
My
conditions.
wildest dreams. Revealed you.
No, dumbass. You should have taken it.
And that's what Robin does, distracts, and then Batman gets the job done, like he said earlier of Jason. Oh god. Did the acid burn through? Or is he fine because he's got his Xylon fibre? I mean, their heads are not protected by Xylon fibre. They were very quick in their response times. Good for you, police officers. These people are just doing their jobs, they're not hurting anyone. I'm not okay with this. Surely this is, I mean, this, I know obviously Jason hates cops. That's not something Batman would promote, surely. Nope. This is what Batman's unleashing. He's murdered a bunch of cops.
Who the fuck are you?
He's trying to be a good man. Unlike you. To be honest, take a picture of that, send it to Bruce. Or at least Alfred. You can pass it on to Bruce. It's a mess Bruce Wayne is leaving in his wake.
Does Bruce know?
Know what?
Bruce did right by you, didn't he?
He has to believe that. I mean, in some ways, yes.
How many Robins should I expect?
None. One.
None.
Yeah. I hope the new Trackers in there, people. Okay, so I really enjoyed that episode. I liked that we saw a lot of Dick's backstory. This episode we saw more of him. It was quite centric around his character. And seeing more flashbacks of the fact that, you know, he wanted to go and live with his family from his circus days, but they thought what was best for him would be being raised by the wonderful Bruce Wayne. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and to an extent, he probably was better off being raised by Bruce Wayne. I'm still debating my opinion on the ethics of training him to be Robin from the second he arrives. Like, okay, sure, he wasn't like an 8-year-old, but he was still far too young, really, to be brought into that kind of way of thinking, and to just stoke the fuel and fire of his rage and his pain into something that now he can't control as much. So yeah, I find every single little bit of information we get about his backstory fascinating, and I think he had a very complex feelings about Bruce Wayne and what he thinks about being Robin and about having been raised by Bruce Wayne the way he was raised by Bruce Wayne. And I'm loving unpeeling every layer of that as we go along. And I thought the fact that, so I don't even know if he knew whether or not he was going to kill the guy that killed his parents. Obviously he went there to kill him, but at the same time I could see him not being sure if he was actually going to go through with it, or just beat him up a bit, get out some of that rage. But then he let him get killed by those people, which would mess you up, especially if you are a hero who wants to protect and help people. Having a man say, help me, beg you for his life, and then letting him die. And the fact that he enjoyed watching him die, because of course, if someone took away your parents, you know, they murdered the two people closest to you in the world, of course you're going to feel a little bit glad when he dies, you know, even if you hate yourself for it. That's human nature to kind of have a little bit of you that's like, ha, yes, he deserved that. And then there's the other part of your brain that's like, that's just a person that's been murdered and I've just done nothing. So I think that has definitely been a huge part of what has contributed to his kind of current mental state of not being sure who he wants to be. And, you know, at the end when Jason said, you know, I know who I am, but who are you? Well, the fact that you know who you are isn't great. And he doesn't know who he is, but he's trying to be a better version of himself, and I support that fully. So then we have Jason Todd, who obviously had a very troubled upbringing himself, but I don't know what Bruce Wayne is doing. I mean, it kind of adds more to my feeling that he was probably quite terrible in raising Dick, is that this guy is not stable, you know. He would beat up any, I mean, the whole goal of being a superhero and vigilante, at least in everything I've come across, is to protect the innocent and the good. That's why I wasn't a huge fan of Corey in a previous episode. She attacked some cops when she was in Rachel's house, and they weren't, you know, suspicious. They would literally just appear like they were cops who had, you know, this house has just had a murder in it, there was a missing teenage girl, there's been movement in the house, they've gone to investigate, and actually threw one of them down the stairs and was quite violent with them. And I didn't agree with that, but I think her cops would have still, I don't think she killed them. Whereas Jason was a lot of rage, and he didn't need to do any of that. They literally, all they needed to do was grab Clay and go. So I don't like Jason Todd. I think a lot of the time he was torn between being really admiring Dick and also wanting to prove that he was better than Dick. I think Batman is a terrible influence on him. I think he would need in his life someone to be a mentor figure who can lead him away from the violence, who can tell him that, you know, yeah, there are... I mean, I think Gotham is particularly bad with his dirty cops, so I can kind of see why he would have the mentality of all cops are evil, but even if they are evil, that doesn't mean you need to kill them all and beat them all up, you know. So I wonder if we'll see much more of him. I wonder how much more we're going to see if we're ever going to actually go to Gotham, if we're going to have any kind of more... We've had little bits where, you know, he was on the phone, he got the money from Alfred, and there are little tiny bits from his backstory with Bruce, but I quite like that we've never seen him, and I would be okay if we never saw him. At the same time, I would really like to see him. So I'm intrigued if we're going to see any more of that character. I mean, he's someone that I could see, as much as he is now running around being Robin 2.0, he could become a villain very easily. I mean, if Bruce were to turn around and to say, what you do is despicable, he could become someone that targeted cops or something, you know. I mean, I found that was a very interesting dynamic, and I like the fact that that was a clear line for Dick, that, you know, you do not do that. I think he would be quite upset if he learned that Corey had previously attacked some cops. When I mean, my thing with it was more that she did it just a little bit more than just to get by them. She kind of, you know, went a little bit too far, but it's not something that I still like her a lot. And I love the fact that last episode she was like, Dick's gonna think I did this, and then all episode he thought she'd murdered the family. And then at the end he woke up and he demanded to only speak to Rachel, which, you know, I guess this next episode's going to be the adults saying we don't want them to do that, maybe asking if she'd feel up to it. She probably, if she knows that he wants to talk to her, would want to talk to him. Oh, it's going to be a lot. I enjoyed Gar this episode, continuing his fanboying ways. So yeah, this episode was very much focused on Dick, and rather than the other characters, so I wonder if we're going to get a few episodes that are more focused on them going forwards, or, you know, he's kind of been the main... They're all the main characters, but so far he's been like the main character. But I loved this episode, and it was really lovely to see him getting to reunite with, you know, that man Clay from his childhood, and you kind of think what his life would have been like if he'd raised him. I mean, it's true, being in a circus that then gets shut down, you don't have much money, but I think while he wouldn't have had very much money, he would have been loved and been raised in a non-violent household, and hopefully his grief and pain would have been dealt with rather than just channeled into this vengeance. So I mean, I was almost thinking, I forgot as in the same way I think Dick forgot, until he said, oh, did Bruce know you're Robin? I forgot that he wouldn't immediately then know that Bruce Wayne was Batman. I was wondering if he was going to have some kind of thing of, oh, maybe I shouldn't have let you go with him because he's raised you like this. Whereas he just thinks, you know, oh, Bruce, you're a wonderful young man, and obviously that was Bruce. And, you know, to an extent, I guess Bruce did, like you said, he did his best. His own personal tragedies were not, did not raise him in a manner that meant he was in a great position to be taking care of a kid. So yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. As always, I mean, I think because I already know, I've seen various Batman films, I know more about Batman and Gotham and Robin and everything. I'm loving finding out more about this version of that story and finding out more about kind of Dick's backstory and how it relates to Bruce Wayne and what Bruce Wayne is actually like in this world. Whereas with the others, I feel like with Rachel, with Corey, and I mean, we've already had Gar's backstory basically, but with them, I'm in complete, I knew nothing. This show is all I know, so it's a very different experience of uncovering the mysteries there, but I also enjoy that too. So yeah, I can't wait for the next episode. Thank you for watching.